Sorry about that, guys. Just had to stop that quickly just to check what translation I wanted. But 2nd Ezra 13:39 in the GNTA says, "You saw him gather another great crowd of peace-loving people. These are the 10 tribes of Israel who were taken away into captivity in the time of King Hoshea. King Shalmaneser of Assyria captured them and deported them to a foreign land east of the Euphrates River. But the 10 tribes decided not to stay in that land among the Gentiles, so they moved further east to a country where no human beings had ever lived before. There they hoped to keep their laws, which they had failed to keep in their own country." And so I want people to know, just think about this directionally. This is why it's very, very important to know the structure that we're standing on. And so if you go further east of the Euphrates River, does that bring you to America? To a country further east of America? That's not the way people would describe going to America ever, whether you're on a flat earth or a ball earth. That doesn't make sense. You're going in the opposite direction. And so I want people to know these people are completely out of their mind, and they're just making up stuff. So let's get back to what he's saying. Sorry, I reset it.
All right, shalom, shalom.
I'll try and get back to the point.
The laws of Moses until the time, and after that, the Northern Kingdom fled, man, and went over here to Americas. Okay, we're going to get into that. All right.
Again, the whole point of his breakdown is that going east further is America. So east of the Euphrates and then further east is America. Think about that.
Verse 42, that they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. All right. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still over the flood till they were passed over. Which means, man, the Lord, because Issachar and the northern tribes, what are they known for? They're known for reading the stars, man, and the signs. And the Lord gave them signs through the.
If they're known for that, how do we live on a spinning ball? Like, where are these stars like flying with the earth and all that? Like, these people are insane, and so they're just out of their mind. So like the ancient Hebrew model of the earth was just flat stationary earth, just like all the Hindus. Everybody knew that the earth was flat and stationary until Sir Isaac Newton came along. Sir Isaac Newton, really? Just look at his acronyms. You're gonna trust Newton, Copernicus, all these just liars and so like who are pushing ball earth to support atheism and then this beast system. So this person is literally out of his mind.
In the heavens, man, of that led them over here to this land, man. All right. Verse 45. For though that country there was
not a coincidence that verse 44 is for the Most High then showed them signs. Sorry, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. So verse 44, for people know 144, there's always, that's special. God, every verse in the Bible is placed perfectly, just like Revelation 14:4, 144 refers to the 144. It's easy to remember. And so it's for God's elect. It's important to pay attention to that.
A great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Ashereth. All right, and Arshereth. And so we're going to get into the Jewish encyclopedias of what our Arshereth actually is, man. All right.
He's going to the Jewish encyclopedia, which, again, we know that the Jewish people are just, the synagogue of Satan, the fake Jews, and all that kind of stuff. So just if you read that verse and just read it just like any normal person would read anything else, it's just what it says, that a group of people in that region near the Euphrates were just not able to keep the law, and so they moved east, and then they went really far east, and they're there now, and that's what the Bible says in 2nd Ezra. They're there right now, as I'm recording this, and they're keeping God's laws, and so God ministers to them. I suspect when these UFOs come once in a while, they're ministering to them. We don't know what it is, but God's ministering to them, and because they don't have like the internet and stuff like that. Like, they're keeping God's laws, so God doesn't vomit when he looks down on this earth and listen to these stupid people break down the Bible. And so God needs the law to persist always, and that's the way God is, and it makes sense. And so it's alive and well with this remnant. And so just know that my Revelation 11 breakdown is not super mysterious. It's not. It's just, if read it for what it is, and then I lightly infer that those two individuals are Moses and Elijah, and that's just obvious. And Revelation 16, if you read it, it's very literal. Those are the things that are going to happen very, very soon. And then everything that those two witnesses are doing to the earth, they're just going to be some CNN story that, no, it's just, it's something else. Like the blood water is going to be, no, there was an oil spill. The sun intensifying is going to be global warming. Sores on people is going to be a corona vaccine. They're going to make up a story, and the power outage will be like, oh, Russia hacked America's grid and all that kind of stuff. There's a power outage prophesied in Revelation 16. America's going to go dark for a certain period of time. So it's just, to us, it's just very obvious. So this guy's like, can't imagine why God would use people of other nations or whatever, when this guy claims to believe that God's spirit is housed in all nations. But we know what's really going on. These people are gatekeeping, but they're gatekeeping stuff that's just not true. We know that it's not true, because like it's just not what the Bible says. And so I just read like the Bible, like every other book. It's like just what it says, and then God confirms that to us with his spirit, and then helps us kind of link all these things together. And so 2nd Ezra 13 is completely consistent with Revelation 11 and the entire book of Revelation. And so, and again, like I said, from a high level, it makes sense, that God would preserve a group of people that care about the law more than whatever their government says. You think these people care about the law more than their government? Anybody who cares about the law more than their government would have killed himself already, because you're not allowed to keep God's laws here in Babylon. You have to lie to get a job. You have to wear a mask and be an idiot, which everybody knows that this Corolla thing is just because the economy was slowing down. So we have to pretend and play dumb. And then are we allowed to eat, food that's like actual food? Are we allowed to breathe, normal air? Are we allowed to teach the truth about our reality, like the flat stationary earth, to our kids and expect them to like go and work and get jobs and stuff? Of course not. And so these people just want people to like, mingle with the system, be a Babylonian, and just blend in and do the best you can. Nowhere in the Bible does it say do the best you can with the law. It's like Christ is saying that, if your hand causes you to sin, cut it off, And so again, he's not recommending people do that. He's saying that's going to be a judgment for people, that in their next life, if you're not born without an arm, you have some idea why. And it's not always the case, but that's what he means, when he says that. And so, no one cares about the law in America. We're not allowed to anyway, and certainly not these people. That's insane. That's crazy. Nothing about the God of the Bible says do your best. He says, if you don't forgive somebody, I'm not going to forgive you. That's absolute. It's not if you feel like it, if you like, kind of in a good mood that day, do it. He's like, no, if you don't do that, I'm not going to forgive you either. And so God is about absolutes, because how can God convey things that are just, half truths? Do the best you can. Obey, 10 of the laws. That's pretty good. No, it's like we know now that we can't obey any of the law, and so we want out of here. Up. That's the only way we can go. And so that's our only hope at this point. And so don't listen to these people. This person's completely out of his mind. There's no point in even going further in this, because he's just going to continue to like point out the fact that Israelites are here in America, which we know that. That's not an argument. That's what Deuteronomy prophesies. And so, but he's double dipping then. He's saying, well, 2nd Ezra is referring to people that came here peacefully, and then there'll be another group that will be coming here as slaves, according to Deuteronomy 28. And so, no one's arguing that they're Israelites, in the Western world. That's known. And so that's fine if even some came here without enslavement, but that's not what 2nd Ezra is talking about. 2nd Ezra 13 is talking about a remnant that's off the grid, and they can't be in America, because in the end times, America will be the epitome of a place where you cannot keep the law, because it's anti-law. The Bible says Christ is being spiritually even crucified here. So even his spirit is being destroyed, much less trying to do the things that he physically commands us to do. And so there's no hope for these this remnant to keep the law. And I want people to know there are a group, as I record this right now, on this flat earth, somewhere in a very, very distant land, that are keeping God's laws. And so just know that. And I knew that before God even told me this. I just suspected that's the case because that's just the way the God of the Bible is. His law has to persist always and forever. And so that's an amazing thing. And so that's pretty much it. I don't think we need to go into that too much. Again, his whole argument is that Second Ezra is referring to America. Highly recommend people definitely read Second Ezra. Read the whole Apocrypha, but Second Ezra 13 is explaining that group leaving, the place where they couldn't keep the law, and how they're there to this day, and then they're still going to be there right until the end, and that unlocks Revelation 11. And so let's wait for this person to post his video on Revelation 11 and 16, so we can get a good laugh from a ball earther. Hope everyone's doing well. Bye.